Now that we've cleared the path of trip hazards by learning to appreciate and let go of bias, it's time to remember how we actually learn. Stepping past the basics to hack the difficult equations of the trusted authorities doesn't do any good. Even the experts often struggle because that's really all they get. They get a system that allows operation without being understood. That was actually the point. We wanted to know what to do when we didn't have a clue. But knowledge without wisdom is like water in the sand. Nature does the opposite. It provides a simple to understand system that we learn just by playing with it. There is absolutely no expert education required. And that is the best reference. When we try to make things happen, nothing is ever enough. Even the best effort and advice utterly fails because instructions don't actually allow growth. The truth is, everything that requires work will only ever require more work to keep going, no matter how well who does what. It's simply unsustainable. It is a well-researched fact by now that the better students follow instructions, the fewer skills they actually have. The problem is not that kids aren't listening, but that they are. Obeying starts replacing playing for everything. So we can't figure anything out on our own. When we allow our needs to be met naturally instead, well, then everything changes. Nothing else is needed. Playing shows us how to allow what we like instead of trying to make it happen. It gives us the understanding and the power that even the best effort simply cannot create. Smart science uses nature instead of opposing it. You stop needing continuous effort to do anything. It's understandable how we got to where we are. When we have a problem, we want to change it. So we try to get the outcome that successful people do by copying whatever they do. But any action can have any outcome. Causes and solutions aren't really about what we do. Most people keep trying everything and failing, thinking they just haven't found the right answer until they finally give up, because they don't realize the source of any problem isn't really what they do. It's how they think. Sometimes we can use things we do to start a process of internal change, sure, but we don't actually get results from doing something different. We get different results from learning to think differently about the things we already do. Your only job now is to start focusing on what you love instead of what you want. It takes 12 bees an entire lifetime to make just 1 teaspoon of honey. And it's not something anybody gets an award for, is it? Doing what you love can easily feel, pretty insignificant, undervalued. But those 12 bees also travel a good 750 miles. They visit between 30 to 120,000 flowers. Doing what you love also touches and heals uncountable others. Playing with what you love also allows you to do things that not even the experts understand yet. For example, Beethoven, one of our greatest musical composers, was stone deaf. Bumblebees fly despite violating all our known laws of physics. All the rules even birds seem to have to follow. If they were a plane, they would crash. But it turns out that they levitate using the vibration of sound. They actually create a little vortex that lifts things just like a tornado. Nor do bees need anyone to follow their instructions in order to keep all the flowers thriving and feed even us. Just as we never needed others to do anything other than what they love either. We really do serve the whole best by doing what we love the most. Doing what we're afraid is needed instead of what we love is what spreads dysfunction instead of harmony, despite the very best intentions. The most dangerous decisions are the ones no one likes, but everyone agrees to. Even though we try to support those who honor our fears, we end up blaming each other for continuing problems simply because we don't know that our approach itself was the real problem. No one wants to have to figure everything out all by themselves. It's hard work and it takes forever. We want to learn from the mistakes of others. Life isn't long enough to make all of them ourselves. But we don't want to be overrun by instructions either. We don't want to be limited by the mistakes of those who advise us. I would agree that blind obedience is the most dangerous thing on planet Earth. And it does run rampant in all our religions. So let these videos assist self-discovery instead. You don't need to change who you are, just to understand yourself a little better. If you want real results, you're going to have to be real. So just be yourself as you play, without worrying about what you should be doing. Trying to follow anyone's instructions is the guaranteed fail. Namaste, my angel. I honor the whole you.